All right, so I'm Aaron. I'm a product manager, and I work on Teams for Frontline Worker. Just as a quick recap of uh, what we talk about when we say frontline workers. Frontline workers are your retail employees, doctors, nurses, manufacturing employees, the medical workforce out there are frontline workers. This is a super important cohort to pay attention to when it comes to enabling these frontline workers with the power of Microsoft Teams. When it comes to frontline workers, there's typically two types of models when it comes to access to Microsoft Teams. And because these frontline workers are deskless and they're going to be on the go, interacting with customers or making a product if they're in that like manufacturing setting, they're going to typically be mobile first. That's why we think about these mobile models into two buckets. Number one is around bring your own device. So allowing Teams on both a personal Android or iOS device. Of course, the company cannot require you to use Teams on personal device, but it's more about a convenience. But what we actually see is the majority of the customers actually do choose to prefer to access Teams on personal device for that convenience. The second bucket is around shared mobile devices. So these are company-owned Android or iOS devices. These are going to be, required for things like on-the-job tasking, and then some common ones that we see out there are, Zebra devices, Honeywell devices, as well as some of the shared iOS devices as well. But what I want to do is talk about some new capabilities that are now in public preview to help with onboarding of Teams on personal device for your frontline workers. So just recapping the problem statement here is that when customers choose to raise that security bar to access Teams on personal device, we see that activation rate start to drop. And where we want to get to is we shouldn't ask customers to compromise security for convenience of setup. So how can we still allow customers to raise that security bar to meet their specific tenant needs, while also making it easy to for that frontline worker to set up Teams on their personal device. And what we see is most customers do choose to raise that security bar with things like multi-factor authentication and sometimes app protection policies as well. So what we've done is we've built a onboarding guide to help set up Teams for the very first time for your frontline workers. And some of the key benefits include faster activation. So you're guided through the entire experience of all the different applications and setup that you may need to access Teams. There's lower change management overhead, so you don't need to create your own custom onboarding guide. You can just point your frontline workers to this onboarding experience. And the setup is tailored to the security policies in your organization. So, for example, if you require MFA but don't have any app protection policies in place, no problem. We'll just take you through the MFA setup. Or if you've already set up things like MFA, then we'll skip that step and we'll just take it if there's any other setup required for app protection policies as well. So it's really dynamic, and it updates based on your specific needs. So what I'll do is I will show a demo of a canonical example, and just to recap, this is intended to be used in tandem with a shared desktop kiosk and a personal device. And the canonical example that I'm going to show here is I'm an Android user and I require MFA with the Authenticator app and app protection policies in place. And what that means from an Android perspective is that I'm going to need company portal on the device. So what I can do here is I'll go to Authenticator.ms/get frontline Teams and get started. I'll have the option to choose whether I'm using an Android or iOS device, because setup could be different depending on your OS type, where I'll be prompted to go ahead and sign in. My password. And here's where we're going to detect that you need MFA. So we'll take you through the MFA setup with Authenticator. And I'll scan that QR code to set up the Authenticator app. Next, we'll detect the app protection policies are in place. So I'll download the Intune company portal. And then after the Intune company portal, I am prompted to download Teams. So it went by a little quick there. I'll just get back here. So I'm down. App protection policies are in place. So I'm required to get a company portal. And then after you get the company portal on your device, we prompt you to go ahead and download Teams. So we take you through the end-to-end process regardless of your security policies set up for both MFA with Authenticator as well as app protection policies that may require company portal. In terms of next steps, if this is available for you all to try out today, one important thing that I'll note here is that we recommend testing with a fresh user account. The reason being that we want you to, with that first time user experience will be for someone in your organization that's going to be onboarding. Because if you've already set up things like MFA, then we skip those steps for you because we don't want to, essentially make you do redundant steps there. Yeah, and with that, I can drop some of these links into the chat.